Another Australian has died and 2 members of our Defence Force are in isolation as the coronavirus crisis escalates. The Navy personnel are among the latest patients diagnosed with the illness, but federal politicians and their staff could also be among those who came into contact with the pair.
The man in his early 80s, a resident of the Baptist Care Facility in Macquarie Park, was hospitalised a week ago. He died overnight. It's the same home where a 95-year-old woman died last week from the virus.
Our thoughts go to the family members of the 81-year-old who's passed away as a consequence of coronavirus, and we appreciate what they're going through.
The number of cases in New South Wales has jumped to 38. One of them has been identified as a Navy officer. He is aged in his 40s and travelled on 2 domestic flights on Friday the 28th of February showing symptoms. From Sydney to Canberra at 6:45am, returning to Sydney on a Virgin flight at 2:35. Anyone seated in rows 2 to 6 in the first flight or rows 3 to 7 in the second flight are being told to self-isolate.
These are the people that we would like to talk about to see whether they have developed any symptoms during the last few days and talk to them about what they need to do.
A number of political staffers and MPs were on the flight.
I don't know who they are, and I don't know whether they were in the self-isolation zone.
The infected man attended a meeting at Defence Headquarters in Canberra. Another member of the Navy has also tested positive. One of the new cases in New South Wales is another worker here at Ryde Hospital, this time a female nurse. It now means that 3 hospitals, Ryde here, Canterbury and Liverpool, all have confirmed cases. And a Melbourne GP who treated patients not knowing he had the virus has slammed these comments made by the state's health minister.
I'm absolutely flabbergasted that a doctor who has experienced flu-like symptoms has presented to work.
Dr Chris Higgins, the father of singer Missy Higgins, said he had a mild cold, and even though he didn't meet the testing criteria, he did a test, which turned out to be positive for the virus. In a Facebook post, he told the minister, "I believe you have taken a cheap opportunity for political grandstanding and would appreciate an apology." Health Minister Greg Hunt says the government has now obtained 54 million face masks.
And these will be to support our GPs, to support our nurses, to support our aged care workers.
But the AMA says the federal government needs to do more.
At many steps along the way through this whole process, there's been an inconsistency of messaging and information between the various parts of the system.
New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian says the virus has changed the way she greets people and others should follow.
I ask everybody to take extra precautions as I am. It's not natural for me not to shake hands. It's not natural for me not to welcome people with a hug, but that is the steps that we should all take.
Our trains and ticket machines are being disinfected, while a task force is looking at how trains and buses will operate if a full-blown outbreak occurs.